I'm Harrison Graham.
And I'm Chase Sr. We just launched a new show here at Chat Sports. We'll be going live every single Thursday, 5 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Pacific.
So subscribe and join us every single week here on our main Chat Sports YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/chatsportstv. This video you're about to watch aired from that live show, so sit back and enjoy. All right, it's live Q&A time here on Chat Sports on our brand new show, Harrison and Chase. Just looking to give some advice, sports or otherwise. We'll answer your questions around the NFL, the NBA. If you have dating advice, we're down to answer that as well. Nothing is off limits here toward the end of the show.
Dating questions, because we got you with the advice.
Yeah,
How about that?
Yeah, you give us questions, we got your
Don't
answers.
Hate the player, hate the game.
Hey, man, we're ready to go. So go ahead and get those questions in. Smack Talk Back, I love it. Or is that Bach? Smack Talk Bach. Would you rather have a primetime Steve Nash or Kyrie right now if you owned the Nets? Hashtag chat. I think prime Steve Nash is who I would prefer because with this Nets team, he can just distribute to KD and James Harden all day.
It's prime Steve Nash, and it's not even close.
Woo!
Why is that? Because I can actually count on Steve Nash to come to the game.
And he's not a flat
I don't have
earther.
to worry about him disappearing. I don't have to worry about him being flaky or flat earth guy. Steve Nash, throughout his career, was one of the best point guards that we've ever seen. Kyrie Irving has shown flashes of that, but the consistency issues and him being dependable and him going down with injuries, I have issues with all of that. Give me Steve Nash 7 days out of 7.
The King, I think, what does it say? Pitts? Kyle Pitts will win Rookie of the Year. It's hard for a non-quarterback to win this, but if any non-QB will, it's going to be Pitts or Najee Harris.
I'll tell you why Kyle Pitts will win Rookie of the Year. I think he's the most surefire prospect in the 2021 NFL draft class. I've said that for a really long time. I think he's such an impact player. I think kind of pinning him as a tight end is disrespectful because I think he should be labeled a W. He's just a weapon, man. He can line up at wide receiver. He can play tight end. And lastly, there's this. Arthur Smith, while being the offensive coordinator with the Tennessee Titans, had so much success with tight ends and running 12 personnel. I expect him to do the same and unleash Kyle Pitts. I think he's going to be an impact player from day one.
Justin Meade, any thoughts on the Chiefs' defense being undersized? The Chiefs' D from producer Chugs, always keeping his mind in the gutter over there. The Chiefs'
Is the Chiefs D undersized?
It took me a little while to get that one. You got me, Jeremy. You got me.
Good.
I don't know if the D is undersized. Is the defense undersized? Hopefully the answer is no in both cases, but I like this Chiefs defense. I think it's underrated. I think Steve Spagnuolo's done a nice job since taking over a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
They've gone from second to last in the NFL in 2018 to top half in the last 2 years. So I think it's a good unit. I think Tyrann Mathieu and Chris Jones are cornerstone players, and I love second-year corner L'Jarius Sneed. So I don't have major problems about their defense, and with the way they score, their defense is just fine anyway. Today's sponsor is BetUS. If you want to go bet on the NFL, do some NBA prop bets, whatever it is, there's one place to do it, and that is BetUS. Here's the thing, though. You got to use our link below. Otherwise, you can't get the deposit bonus. It just won't work. So open a separate tab. Type this in, chatsports.com/bet. Use our promo code CHAT125. You put down $100, that'll get you an extra $125 in free play. Extra money to bet on throughout the NFL season, on into the NBA season, and Major League Baseball as well. Make some money. It's chatsports.com/bet. Use our promo code CHAT125.
Justin Meade said, unintentional, I swear.
Jason Mason, who's the best baller at Chat Sports? I like the use of hashtag chat there. Man, who do you think?
We're talking basketball, it's me. It's just me.
So producer,
I'll take anybody on.
Producer Chugs, who's micing up right now,
office.
has supposed to face Chase in one-on-one. It hasn't happened yet.
I had a foot injury, but now
Chase
I'm back.
keeps on backing out.
I had a foot injury, and now I'm back.
Should we televise this? Should we go live here on Chat Sports and play a little one-on-one? Let us know. Yes, Y for yes, N for no. Should we air Chugs versus Chase in one-on-one because I think that's something we all want to see. So get your votes in.
I don't want to embarrass Chase like that.
I already embarrassed you in golf on Sunday,
Well,
so I'll embarrass you in basketball as well.
And Chase and I embarrassed the entire office in Pong a couple of weeks ago. The real ones know.
No lies spoken.
Absolutely.
That's 6-cup John.
It was all I know is we went 12-0, Jeremy. So let's keep to pushing the
We're
buttons over
stealing
there.
money from cats.
Taylor Fleming, #chat, Raiders record prediction. Well, if Mitchell Renz was in here, he'd probably say 12-5. I'm not a believer, man. I don't think the Mayock-Gruden duo ends well. I think there's a good chance Mayock's gone after this year.
I agree.
Dude, both their two of their 3 third-round picks last year aren't even on the team.
That's
you
bad.
trade Lynn Bowden before the season even starts last year.
Anytime you take Cleveland Farrell in the top 5, it ain't it.
They cut Tanner Muse last week, who was a major overdraft, and didn't even bring him back to the practice squad. They signed another linebacker, so they haven't drafted well. They've overpaid some guys in free agency. They haven't been terrible. They have improved record-wise, but
really good division, too.
you know, I'm not a believer in that duo, man. I think Mayock's gone after this year. I'll say 7-10.
I was going to say
7-10, and they're looking for a new GM. Jerry Sherwood likes something. #chat, better analyst, Michael Irvin or Kendrick Perkins? It's a good question, actually.
Yeah.
So Michael Irvin is now on First Take on Mondays, I believe, which, you know, I like, you know, Stephen A. It makes ESPN a lot of money, but they just let him run the show now. I think they've given him way too much power. I'd probably go Perk, honestly. He at least makes me laugh on Twitter.
I like Michael Irvin. I think he's good in a setting on NFL Network. I don't like when he almost strokes out on First Take alongside
Take a
Stephen
breath,
A. Smith.
Mike.
I actually think Kendrick Perkins brings a lot to the table as an NBA analyst, and I do feel like he has some inside sources. He was the first one that talked about Ben Simmons
he did.
not reporting to training camp. So I love Perk. I think he's fantastic.
And he's better on Twitter. Of a couple of two good athletes we just talked about, Michael Irvin and Kendrick Perkins. Who's your favorite athlete of all time? I think I know the answer for Chase, but I'll let him speak for himself.
Who would
I
be
think
your
it's
answer
Allen
for me?
Iverson.
Yeah, Allen Iverson and Brian Dawkins. Those are
Okay.
my 2 favorite athletes of all time. I think
Man.
they both epitomize
Those are good ones.
what you should be as athletes on the floor. Allen Iverson off the floor, maybe not. Not the most exemplary
But
figure,
he brought the culture, though, man.
Brought the
You know,
culture.
he made a couple of bad.
Changed the culture of the NBA more so than anybody
As
else.
he got older, he matured. I think, you know, we all make mistakes when we're younger. I think he's fine there. I like both those selections. Dawkins was awesome with Philadelphia. Man, this is tough. I'm a big Dirk guy, Dallas through and through. You know, with the Mavs, of course, and I just think he's the most humble superstar of all time. I mean, it's just what I believe. So I'd probably go Dirk number 1. It's tough. There's so many NFL guys putting me on the spot here. I'll say this, college football, I loved watching Vince Young at Texas. He was just unreal. Reggie Bush was fun at USC. Those early mid-2000s, there were some dudes in college football. So those are a couple of names, but Dirk would have to be my number 1. Got time for a few more questions. Subscribe if you want more live mailbags like this one. SM says, NBA coaches on the hot seat. It's a good one, man, entering this year.
Luke Walton.
Yeah, well, he's
number 1 coach on the hot seat.
He's the obvious one. If
he was given assurance that he'd be back for this year, nothing beyond that. And in addition to that, I'd go with Doc Rivers.
Wow.
I think if the Sixers are bad, I think they get rid of him year 2 because Daryl Morey didn't hire him. He was hired before Daryl Morey.
I'm looking at the standings here. Oh, man, it's hard to do this on the spot here, man, especially after the offseason where there were coaching changes. What about Scott Brooks is already gone in Washington. I was going to say him. Could Billy Donovan be on the hot seat if they miss the playoffs in Chicago?
Think so.
You think he's
safe?
safe?
Only year 2.
It's only year 2, but they added all these pieces.
Yeah.
Maybe, maybe not. How about this? I think they'll give him time, but what about the dude in Detroit? He used to be the Raptors coach. Now he's the Pistons coach. Dwayne Casey.
Dwayne Casey, yeah.
I think they're going to give him time, but what if they're just a disaster again? New voice for
I could see
Cade.
him being out, although he kind of got a promotion. Like he's got some front office say as well.
That's true. So I definitely think Luke Walton is the one that stands out there. Frankie Gustavo Fring. Do the Warriors have one more NBA Finals run in them? #chat. I think it's possible. I wish they would have added another star, but they were unable to do so.
I think the Warriors have another NBA Finals run in them. I think everything hinges on Klay Thompson's health.
Yeah.
If Klay Thompson comes back and he's somewhat healthy, I think the Warriors are going to be able to compete for an NBA title this year.
And
if he's not, I don't think they're
And can
deep
him coming back create enough spacing to make Draymond an effective offensive player again? Because he has not been that the last 2 years without Klay. So I think that's kind of a twofold possibility there. Anish Anand, what game will have the biggest blowout in week 1?
I think the Niners are just going to steamroll the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, it's on the road, but still, man.
Yeah.
I think another one that stands out to me is looking at it, Minnesota over Cincinnati. It's on the road. Maybe that's a trap game. How about the Packers-Saints game? New Orleans dealing with a lot. Could Green Bay just boat race them in Jacksonville?
I think
Maybe
New
not.
Orleans is too well coached.
You still
for that
think
to
they're
happen.
good enough to compete?
Yeah.
We'll see. I would have said the Ravens over the Raiders, but it's on the road, and the Ravens are decimated now.
Yeah.
So I think that game's probably a little closer. I think the Niners is the one for sure. All right, Darkman, sup Chase, sup Harrison, what it do up in here? So this is our new show. Every Thursday, 5 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Central Time, you'll see Chase, myself, chopping it up with you guys, hitting a lot of the hot topics in the NFL, the NBA. We'll do some gambling stuff, NFL picks of the week, college football bets of the week. We'll do some live Q&As like we always do with just whatever questions you guys have. And we're just keeping it loose, a little less structure, having fun. We always have fun here at Chat Sports, but just kind of a different type of vibe, different type of energy. That's kind of what we're going for here. So join us every week, Thursday, 5 o'clock Eastern, 4 Central. You see the subscribe link below. Make sure to hit that sub button, and we will be back every single Thursday. All right, honest Laker fan. Lakers are winning free agency. Well, free agency's kind of over, but they had a good free agency.
Past tense would be one.
Yes.
And you might have an argument there.
Good,
I like what the Lakers
good value
did.
signings. Yeah, they're definitely up there. I wouldn't put them number 1, but they did have a good offseason for sure. By the way, I think you have an extra space between Laker and fan, but, that's neither here nor there. I think this is the last question, unless we get a super chat. Hashtag chat from Anish. Do the Nets have the most talented roster of all time? All time?
I'm not. All time is pretty lofty. That Warriors team with KD, I think, was better than this Nets team.
I think so, too.
Now, obviously, if you go up against one another, you're taking KD off the Nets, right? But I think the Warriors team, if you're just pairing them up next to each other, I think that Warriors team with KD.
Call me crazy, just great. Kobe and Shaq.
Kobe and Shaq.
Forget the rest of the roster.
I think they beat Brooklyn as well.
I think so, too. Now, the eras are different, the way the game's officiated. Would they let Shaq just run over dudes? Probably not, but... it's hard to compare. It's definitely in the top 5 or 10 because you have 3 surefire Hall of Famers and probably a 4th in Blake Griffin. But, yeah, I can't say for sure it's the most talented of all time.